Okay. President of AGFTC in absentia Shri Bharatbhai Sheikh, President Emeritus of ITBA, respected Shri Dinesh Bhai, my colleagues at ITBA, learned faculty Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi from New Delhi, President and Honorary Secretary of all 9 participating associations from whole of Gujarat, and fellow professional brothers and sisters. Before I start my welcome address and opening remark, I personally, on behalf of all professional organizers, I am very much thankful to today's speaker, Mr. Jaspal Singh Sethi, who has readily accepted our invitation on last moment just yesterday due to some unavoidable circumstances with Mr. Deepak Bolusaria, who is not able to take today's session due to some medical emergency. So we are very much thankful to Jaspal Singh Sethi, who has not only accepted the invitation in no time, but also make sure that today's webinar will go on, and he made his presentation in less than 24 hours. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome an eminent speaker, Mr. Jaspal Singh Sethi, from the capital of India. My thirst of knowledge leads me to deliver the goods by way of organizing third webinar within a period of less than 1 month after I took over the charge as president on 28th May 2021. In Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, celebration of 75th year of foundation of Income Tax Bar Association and 75th year of independent India as well. The Finance Act 2021 brought a number of amendments and introduction of new provisions, which we are bound to face. Provision of Section 194Q is one of them, inserted with effect from 1st July 2021. So I grabbed this opportunity well in advance to share the knowledge of legal stalwart, Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi, and enrich the members as my prime duty in coordination with AGFTC and participating associations. Friends, the subject is very interesting one. Section 194Q speaks about TDS for purchase of any goods for paying any sum to any resident seller, whereas Section 206C1H require the seller to collect the tax of the consideration received during the financial year exceeding the limit prescribed in the section. The most important part, why the selection of such technical subject? In my humble opinion, if a particular transaction is covered by Section 194Q as well as Section 206C1H, then TDS under Section 194Q will have application and not TCS under Section 206C1H. In other words, provision of Section 194Q will override Section 206C1H. I am sure that Mr. Sethi leave no room to this issue and enlighten us on every aspect of both the sections. Once again, I welcome Shri Jaspal Singh Sethi, President of AGFTC, and who is guiding force and one and all in this webinar. Thank you very much. Now I request past President of AGFTC and President Emeritus of Income Tax Bar Association, Shri Dinesh Bhai, to come forward and say a few words.
Young and dynamic President Mridang Bhai, our learned speaker, Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi, and friends. First of all, I congratulate both the President for arranging such a talk on a very important subject. Now, we have to learn all new things. This is all first time we are getting all these things. So it will be very difficult for each and everyone to comply the same. I think all our doubts will be clear by the speaker and we'll get through this subject very well. I thank you all the presidents of different associations for joining this seminar, this webinar. I wish the grand success of webinar and congratulate President Rupesh, his team and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh Kaka, for your blessings. With this, now I request Vice President of Income Tax Bar Association, Dhruvin Mehta, to introduce today's speaker, Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi.
Thank you, President, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm so pleased to be with you all today and to have the chance to introduce our honorable speaker, Sri Jaspal Singh Sethi. He is practicing advocate in direct tax laws matters. Sir is a commerce graduate from Sri Guru Gobind Singh College of Commerce, Delhi University. Sir completed his graduation in law from Meerut University and has been active in practice since 2006. He is specialized in direct tax laws and advising in area of business and corporates. Sir is also an avid speaker on direct tax laws and has deliberated in numerous seminars in various forums across North India. He is also author to books on income tax, including budget analysis, which comes yearly, handbooks to income tax returns, procedural aspect of tax returns, etc. He has also written many articles which have been published in various journals. He is now partner at PS Law Group, a law firm that specializes in tax laws. Please welcome our today's eminent speaker, Sri Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruv Bhai, for your effective introduction. Now, with all dignity, I request Mr. Jaspal Singh to say on the subject and to give his presentation. Sir.
Respected President of the Income Tax Bar Association, Advocate Mridang H. Vakilji, President of AGFTC, Shri Advocate Shri Bharat L. Sethi, Secretary of ITBA, Shri C.A. Shirdhar Shah, Secretary of AGFTC, C.A. Vishesh Shahji, President Emeritus of ITBA, Shri Advocate Diresh P. Shahji, past President of ITBA, my dear friend, Advocate Rupesh R. Shahji, immediate past President of AGFTC, Advocate Dhurin V. Shahji, immediate past President of ITBA, Advocate Ashutosh Thakurji, other dignitaries present in this webinar, my professional colleagues and my dear friends. The topic that has been assigned to me is a very, very interesting topic. And as my friend Mridang Vakilji has pointed out, the subject and the interplay of the two sections which have been introduced for the very same issue. There are two different sections covering the very same issue of TDS, or I would say taxes on the same transaction. In this webinar, we are going to discuss the details, the intricacies of the two sections and how both the sections are very, very important for the levy of this tax. We will be discussing individually both the sections. We will be discussing the comparison of the two sections. We will be discussing the differences of the two sections. And we will also be discussing कि दोनों कहाँ और कैसे implement हो. Then further, I'll also be covering up the consequences, which in my opinion are very, very draconian. This is a very, very important subject, which is to be discussed. It is the need of the hour to discuss this subject in detail. And it affects each and every business, whether small or big. Even the very big corporates are going to face a lot of issues in implementing these two sections. Now, sir, I will, with the permission of Chair, I'll start with the subject. And before coming on to the sections, let us understand what is TDS. So TDS is tax deducted at source and tax collected at source. This is part of the scheme of the income tax called pay as you earn. As we all know, we earn in 1 year and the taxes are to be paid in the next year. What happens is that the government gets its taxes the next year and the people are earning in the previous. So way back when the TDS was introduced in the 90s, this was the scheme by which the TDS was introduced, that pay as you earn, and even the advance tax is part of it. Now, ever since the introduction, the scope of TDS has been widened by the department, by the board, so as to cover the maximum number of transactions and to increase the scope of TDS and the reporting of the TDS so as to bring the transactions on record. TDS not only helps in bringing taxes early to the government, but also helps in compliance of the rightful compliance of the transactions. If a TDS transaction is reported, the assessee does not have any choice but to report it, but to include it in his return of income. Now, by doing so, we have also seen for the last 15 years, TDS was these were digitized in somewhere around 2006. For the last 15 years, we have seen the digitization of the TDS data, and that brought about a sea of change in the compliance law of income tax. And ever since, slowly and steadily, this scope has been increased. Now, sir, 26 AS में जब से आया है, वहां से हम स्लोली एक सेक्शन की रिपोर्टिंग होने से हमारे जो प्रोसेसिंग ऑफ रिटर्न्स है उसके अंदर डिफरेंसेस नोट किए गए. We have also seen in the last 10 years that due to the reporting, there has been a lot of litigation which has come up. Litigation ki, although some of it was rightful litigation, some of it was only an inconvenient litigation, but slowly and steadily people developed the concept of a rightful compliance, and this is only an extension of the same theory of widening the scope of TDS. If we go back now, I'll come to the particular sections that we are dealing with today. The TDS or TCS on sale of goods. Sir, sale of goods ke upar, sale is not an income by itself. TDS has always been levied on the income part of any transaction. अगर कहीं कोई income होती है तभी उसका tax होता है, तभी उसका TDS कटा जाता है. Now, this was also a point of discussion among the authorities, among the courts also, that whether TDS should be applicable on a sale transaction, sale or purchase transaction, whether any income constitutes out of the sale transaction. Well, sir, the answer is yes. Howsoever small, there is some percentage of income in every sale transaction. सेल होती है तो प्रॉफिट होता है, प्रॉफिट होता है तो हम टैक्स देते हैं. नॉट दैट कि एवरी सेल ट्रांजैक्शन हैज टू रिजल्ट इन अ प्रॉफिट, बट दैट इज द वेरी मोटिव ऑफ अ ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ एनी बिजनेस, दैट सेल द प्रॉफिट्स हैज टू अराइज फ्रॉम सेल ट्रांजैक्शंस. नाउ सर, व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि सेल्स भी होती नहीं, हमने इनकम्स को तो बड़ी तरीके से हैंडल कर लिया कि इंटरेस्ट इनकम आई तो हमने उसको टीडीएस से कवर अप कर लिया, एंड सिमिलरली रेंट आया तो हमने कर लिया, और भी हमारी कमर्शियल ट्रांजैक्शन हुई तो हमने 194C के अंदर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ देम वी हैव कवर्ड. बट दोस वर द हायर अमाउंट ऑफ TDS which were covered. Now there was a lot of practice and over the period of a lot of litigation, it was observed that many of the turnovers were not even reported by the assessees. To cover up this aspect, and a provision was introduced in Finance Act 2020. 1st of February 2020, this section was introduced for the first time. Section 206 capital C, sub provision 1H, which levied collection of tax at source on a purchase transaction. Sir, every law when introduced is not a comprehensive law. It develops over a period of time. And this was originally required to be introduced with effect from 1st of April 2020. And I think I'll just take a moment. We will start our presentation now because we are on the subject now. Can I share my screen? Am I allowed to?
Yes, you are allowed to share yours.
Okay, just allow me a moment. Is my screen
Yeah, visible.
Yes, visible.
Okay. So let's discuss the key features of what was introduced by way of 206C, capital 1H. This was collection of tax at source on sale of goods or purchase of goods. And as I said, this was originally made applicable from 1st of April 2020. However, with the COVID-19 coming up, this was delayed, and finally it was made applicable from 1st of October 2020. Now sir, यहाँ पे किया क्या, यहाँ पे एक liability डाल दी seller के ऊपर कि when there is a sale of goods and when the seller is supposed to receive money against the sale of goods, there was a liability to collect in addition to the amount of the sale transaction, a tax of 0.1% of the amount received from the buyer. Now sir, this is a very, very interesting and important aspect. मान लेते हैं हमने एक ट्रांजैक्शन करी 10 लाख रुपए. I'm not going into the quantums of the overall applicability. I'm just taking an example. मान लीजिए हमने 10 लाख रुपए की एक सेल करी एंड लेट्स अज्यूम इसके ऊपर टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल था. आज मेरा कोई भी टैक्स नहीं देना. लेट्स से हमने आज सेल करी, टुडे इज द 24th of June 2021. आज हमने सेल करी, हमारी कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं है फॉर कलेक्शन ऑफ टीसीएस और टू पे इट टू द गवर्नमेंट. Our liability will arise when we will receive the amount from against the sale of goods. ये मेरा 1 महीने में भी हो सकता है, 2 महीने में भी हो सकता है, 6 महीने में भी हो सकता है, 1 साल बाद भी हो सकता है. It is only upon the receipt of the amount against the sale when my tax liability arises. So the point of tax liability is the date of payment received and not the date of sale. Now the second aspect of it is, if this is so, if I have received an advance and the sale has not been generated, my liability will still rise. अगर मैं आज 10 लाख रुपया रिसीव कर लेता हूं और सेल इसकी मुझे करनी है बाद में, और वो मेरी सेल 50 लाख से ऊपर होगी, वो भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे, and say my transaction is covered under this provision, my liability immediately arises. Now let's discuss the provision itself. Sir, every seller being a person whose total sales, gross receipts, turnover exceeds INR 10 crore rupees, तो किसके ऊपर लायबिलिटी है? एक ऐसे सेलर के ऊपर जो सेल्स कर रहा है, जो सामान बेच रहा है, नॉट सर्विसेज, माइंड यू सर, नॉट सर्विसेज. This is on sale of goods. Services are covered by TDS under a different provision, and it has been covered ever since. This is only on the sale of goods. इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर मेरी टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ से ऊपर है previous financial year, not the current previous year. This is not to be confused with the previous year in the assessment. My previous year, previous financial year, उसके अंदर अगर मेरी 10 करोड़ से ऊपर है तो अगले साल के अंदर मेरे को ये टैक्स एप्लीकेबल है. मान लीजिए आज हमारा चल रहा है 21-22 फाइनेंशियल ईयर. फॉर द ट्रांजैक्शन टुडे टू बी for the tax to be levied, my turnover in financial year 2021 has to be more than 10 crore rupees. अगर मेरी पिछले साल की टर्नओवर 9 करोड़ है और इस साल की टर्नओवर मेरी 15 करोड़ हो जाती है, 20 करोड़ हो जाती है, मेरी लायबिलिटी सर नहीं आएगी. Second provision is not being a person as the central government waive. So this is a general central government or state governments की उनको उन लोगों को exemption है. And the third important point is that it is only covered for resident sellers. So non-resident business people are not covered by this. So the second aspect, who receives, a seller को हमने ऊपर define कर, a seller who receives an amount of consideration for sale of goods other than sale of goods exported outside India, सो एक्सपोर्ट सेल्स के ऊपर ये नहीं लगे. एंड ऑन goods which are already covered by subsection 1 of 206C or 1G, which are listed here, for example, alcoholic liquor for human consumption, tindu leaves, timber, and so forth, जिसके ऊपर हम already कुछ TCS collect कर रहे हैं, they are not covered. So this is again, as I said, widening of the scope of TCS. Now, on a transaction value of 50 lakh rupees or above in 1 year, मीनिंग देयर बाय सर, सेलर के लिए जो लिमिटेशन लगाई गई वो है 10 करोड़ रुपए फॉर एवरी परचेजर जिसके साथ मेरी 50 लाख रुपए से ऊपर की ट्रांजेक्शन. नाउ मान लीजिए मेरे पास मेरे 10 क्लाइंट जिनको मैं माल बेचता हूं. एक को मैं 10 लाख रुपए का माल बेचता हूँ, एक को मैं 25 लाख का माल बेचता हूँ, एक को मैं 5 करोड़ का माल बेचता हूँ, एक को मैं 70 लाख का माल बेचता हूँ. सो जिससे मेरे को 50 लाख रुपए से ज्यादा की रिसीट आती है एक साल के अंदर, उसके ऊपर ये टीसीएस लगेगा. और उसके लिए भी 50 लाख रुपए से ऊपर के अमाउंट के ऊपर टीसीएस लगेगा, उससे नीचे नहीं लगेगा. से फॉर एग्जांपल अगेन, जिसको मैं 70 लाख रुपए की सेल कर रहा था, उससे मेरे को एक साल के अंदर 65 लाख रुपए. In his case, I will only be liable to tax for an amount of 15 lakh rupees and not for the initial 50 lakh rupees. So when initially my sales are being made up to the amount of 50 lakhs, I do not have to do any TCS. And any amount after 50 lakh rupees that I receive will be subjected to TCS. Now, sir, there are certain provisos to this. And the consequences. Consequences के हम एक बार बाद में भी आएंगे, which are now being widened. The consequences are widened, but originally what was contained in the section we'll be discussing. Sir, 0.1% का टैक्स तो अभी लगा. अगर जो सामने हमसे परचेज कर रहा है उसने अपना पैन या आधार या कंप्लीट डिटेल्स हमसे शेयर कर रखी है, तो if he is not sharing such kind of details, the tax is 10 times of the specified rate, which is 1%. So normally on a transaction, agar hum 10 lakh rupees ko le, to the tax rate is about 1,000 rupees for every 10 lakhs. However, if he is not providing the PAN or Aadhaar, the tax would be 1 lakh rupees. Oh, sorry, 10,000 rupees against 10 lakh. So they were very, very serious about the implementation of this law. And again, for widening the scope of tax compliances, and they want more and more people to come within the ambit of tax. Not that the tax isse zyada aa jaye, but they want more people to file their tax returns and come under the umbrella of the tax regime and under the scrutiny of the department. Second proviso: if the buyer is liable to TDS on such purchases under a different section, then this section 2061H will not be. अब यहाँ पे ही हमारा आज का मेन एजेंडा है कि ये कैसे कैसे एप्लीकेबल होगा, जिसको हम डिटेल में बाद में पढ़ेंगे. And then there is a small further proviso which they have defined for the buyer. कि buyer जो है वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट नहीं होगा, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट नहीं होगा, एम्बेसी नहीं होगा, हाई कमीशन नहीं होगा, एंड सो लोकल अथॉरिटी, अ पर्सन इंपोर्टिंग गुड्स. तो जैसे हमने एक्सपोर्ट के ऊपर अभी डिस्कस किया. सो दिस इज द फॉर्मल डेफिनेशन ऑफ द बायर. नाउ सर, लेट्स कम एंड डिस्कस सर्टेन एग्जांपल्स एंड सिचुएशंस. सेलर की टर्नओवर अभी हमने डिस्कस किया, मान लो है 10 करोड़ इन द प्रीवियस फाइनेंशियल ईयर. बायर परचेजेस गुड्स फॉर 60 lakhs but makes payment of 40 lakhs only. Can I request people to answer, and this can be a little bit of interactive session? President sir.
Yes.
So anybody who wishes to answer can. फर्स्ट एग्जांपल के अंदर सबके सामने सारी सिचुएशन. आशीष जी हैज रेज्ड हैंड, काइंडली प्लीज अनम्यूट एंड स्पीक.
No.
Perfectly fine, sir. No TCS. Why? हमारी receipt of goods is less than 50 lakhs. Sir, second example. Seller turnover above 10 crores in the year. Buyer purchases goods for 60 lakhs and makes payment of 60 lakhs. The answer would be just the opposite.
Yes.
Yes. Sir. And amount was on 10 lakh rupees. Sir, seller turnover above 10 crores. Buyer purchases goods for 40 lakhs but makes payment of 40 lakhs as and advance of 11 lakhs towards the next order, making a total payment of 51 lakhs.
Yes.
What is the total tax involved?
Yes.
And what will be the quantum, sir?
1 lakh.
1 lakh. 50 लाख रुपए का हमारा एग्जाम्प्ट रहेगा और 1 लाख रुपए के ऊपर हमें 0.1% टैक्स रिपोर्ट करना है. नाउ सेलर टर्नओवर इज 9 करोड़ इन द प्रीवियस ईयर. इन द करंट ईयर द टर्नओवर इंक्रीजेस टू 12 करोड़. इन द करंट ईयर बायर परचेजेस गुड्स फॉर 60 lakhs and makes payments of 60 lakhs.
No, not
What will be the
Not
answer, sir?
applicable.
Not applicable. Very correct, sir. These are the answer. No TCS will be applicable. Now, just to summarize section 206C, sir, a transaction, an amount when received from a purchaser who is purchasing more than 50 lakh rupees in 1 year, the TCS will be applicable and the buyer is responsible for collecting the TCS and depositing it with the department. Now, sir, we all remember जब ये 1st October 2020 को introduce किया गया, there were a lot of confusions. What people did was, बहुत सारे सेलर्स ने इसको अपने बिल के अंदर रेज करना शुरू कर दिया. बिल के अंदर रेज करने से क्या हुआ कि आज हमारी लाइबिलिटी क्रिएट हो गई. जब हमने बिल रेज किया उसके ऊपर लगाया 1%, 0.1% ऑफ द टैक्स एंड वी रेज्ड द अमाउंट्स एज ड्यू फ्रॉम द बायर्स. To my humble understanding, sir, this method was wrong. And I also suggested all my clients not to do so. It is not to be levied at the point of billing. Rather, it is to be levied at the point of collection of amount. And it has to be raised by way of a debit note and not by way of a bill. अगर हम बिलिंग इसकी अपने साथ साथ कर देते हैं, whether we receive the amount or not, the tax becomes payable, sir. The department can come to us that you have already, although if we go completely legally, this might not be applicable, but this becomes a point of contention, the bone of contention between you and the department. They might come to say and that this TCS was collected by you by raising the bill and that you deposit. To my humble understanding, that method was wrong. It should have been and it should be debited at the time when the payment is received. Or you can also do, if by way of कि अगर 50 लाख रुपए आपको आए हैं, आप उसके अंदर से 0.1% कम करके उसी दिन डेबिट नोट रेज कर दीजिए और वो 1000 रुपए 10 लाख रुपए में से आप टीसीएस की तरफ ले जाइए और 9,99,000 रुपए आप अपने बायर के अकाउंट में डालिए. So that was the right way of doing it. I am not sure how people have taken it there, but this is my understanding how things should have been produced. Now, sir, the difficulty. Now we'll come to the second leg of this controversy or this topic. Now, what happened by way of this when this provision was implemented? The government noted that a lot of transactions were still not covered by this section. And the very purpose with which they brought this law was not achieved. That transactions जहां पे सेल हो रही है और receipt बाद में आ रही है, there was a lot of confusion. Then they brought this new section 194Q in the budget of 2021. This is just the reverse of what 206C1H provides. Sir, this says this provision creates a liability on the purchaser of the goods. And to my humble understanding, I think this is a better way of levying the tax. At least there is clarity of the tax, and less confusion is there in the people. Usme compliance mein kya issues aayenge, we will be discussing in a little bit of time. So what this provision creates is, it creates a liability for deduction of tax at source on purchase of goods. And this is now applicable from 1st of July 2021. And as I said, this is section 206 created a liability on the seller. This creates a liability on the purchaser. And the most important aspect is that this creates a liability. The point of tax is the date of the sale itself, without involving the payment there. So the point of tax is the date on which the account of the seller is credited and not the payment. मान लो मैंने एक 10 लाख रुपए की परचेज करी XYZ, जैसे ही मैं परचेज करता हूं, जैसे ही मैं उसका बिल अपने पास रजिस्टर करता हूं, मैं अपनी बुक्स के अंदर सेलर को उस अमाउंट से क्रेडिट कर देता हूं। जैसे ही मैंने क्रेडिट किया, मेरी टीडीएस की लायबिलिटी आ गई। This is the very nature of levy of tax under section 194C, under 194I, under 194J, under 194A, or any other provision under 194 for that matter. Whether the payments have been made or not are matters not related to the taxation. आज मैंने liability अपनी books में create कर ली. That means my liability for TDS arises and I have to make compliances thereof. Similarly, अगर मुझे advance आ जाता है, advance में pay कर देता, then also I am crediting the amount of the advance in the books of in my books against the seller, and similarly the liability of tax will arise. Now, sir, let's go to the provision, the intricacies of the provision. Any person being a buyer responsible for paying any sum to a resident seller. Again, sir, यहाँ पे भी resident को ही यूज किया गया है, and non-resident sellers, अगर हम import कर रहे हैं या deal कर रहे हैं, which are not, वहाँ पे ये applicable नहीं. For purchase of goods of the value or aggregate thereof exceeding rupees 50 lakhs. So again, the quantum of the basic limit has not been changed. This also remains 50 lakhs. And similarly, the total amount of the levy of tax, that is 10 crore rupees for turnover, is also the same. However, sir, वहां पे 10 करोड़ की लिमिट थी सेलर के लिए, यहाँ पे 10 करोड़ की लिमिट है बायर के लिए। अब कंफ्यूजन कहाँ आ रहा है? यहाँ पे 10, अगर मैं खरीद रहा हूं, मेरी 10 करोड़ से ऊपर की लायबिलिटी है, मैं सेल है, टर्नओवर है, तो मैं एप्लीकेबल हो जाऊंगा टीडीएस काटने के लिए, टीडीएस जमा कराने के लिए, वेदर सेलर इज 10 करोड़ और नॉट। चाहे सेलर जो है वो उसकी 2 करोड़ की टर्नओवर हो, मेरी 10 करोड़ है, मैं टैक्स दूंगा, मेरे को टीडीएस काटना है। यहाँ पे आई वुड से डिपार्टमेंट, द बोर्ड हैज पिन्ड द रियल कॉज, जो इशू आ रहा था सिर्फ 206C1H में। नाउ सर, एक और छोटा सा एस्पेक्ट आई थिंक हम वहां नहीं कवर कर रहे, व्हाट इज टर्नओवर? The total sales, the words used in the provision is total sales or gross turnover. So turnover is not only limited to the sales. This is in contradiction of what I was saying earlier, कि हमारी जो टैक्स है वो सिर्फ सेल ऑफ गुड्स पे है, सर्विसेज पे नहीं। हाउएवर सर, टू कवर to consider the applicability of the tax itself, we have to consider the gross turnover. अगर मैं सर्विसेज भी प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं, मैं सेल्स भी प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं, तो मेरे को टोटल टर्नओवर देखनी है और सिर्फ सेल्स की टर्नओवर नहीं देखनी है फॉर द एप्लीकेबिलिटी ऑफ द टैक्स। अगर मैं 9 करोड़ रुपए की सर्विसेज दे रहा हूं और 1 करोड़ की सेल्स कर रहा हूं और उसके अंदर से भी मेरी एक बंदे के साथ ट्रांजैक्शन 50 लाख से ऊपर है, देन आई विल बी सब्जेक्टेड टू TDS फॉर श्योर। नाउ सर, एक इसके अंदर एस्पेक्ट और आया विच वाज वेरी वेरी इंटेलिजेंट द प्रोविजन, आई वुड से, जहां पे हम लोग लूप होल्स ढूंढ लेते हैं, जहां पे बिजनेसमैन लूप होल्स ढूंढ लेते हैं कि हमने क्रेडिट तो किया ही नहीं एक पार्टी, मान लो हमने एक पेमेंट करी, हमने बिल जमा की एंड या एडवांस दे दिया हमने किसी को फॉर परचेज ऑफ सर्टेन गुड्स, एंड वी credited a suspense account instead of the person's account. Sir, this will not help the cause. The department has already pre-assumed the situation, and they say that even if you credit the amount to a suspense account or for some reason, for whatever reason, and ultimately it becomes liable to be credited to the account of the seller, then the amount will be deemed to be credited from that date itself, and tax will be applicable. And if we do not deposit that tax, the interest and the other consequences will follow. So there are certain exceptions to this provision. Now, if the transaction is liable to TDS under some other provision, sir, ये वाला जो exception है, ये हमारी जगह देखो, a transaction is liable to TDS under some other provision, then this section will not be applicable. So they have tried to avoid the overlapping of the provision to the extent possible, I would say. They could not do it completely, and we will discuss here further that there are certain transactions where the two provisions are overlapped. However, they have done to the extent possible that this should not be repeated. There is a further exception, specific exception, and it says that if a transaction is covered under section 2 TCS by 206C, which is the other TCS provisions, other than the provisions of 206C1H, this one section 194Q will not be applicable. Meaning thereby कि 206C1H है तो हम ये exception फिलहाल नहीं लगती, which will be considered separately hereafter. Now, sir, let's come to the differences. हमने समझ लिया 194Q क्या है, 206C1H क्या है, हमने ये तो देख लिया. Now let's come to the differences, the key differences. What are they? Sir, सबसे पहले है who is liable. Under 206C was a resident seller whose gross turnover are more than 10 crores. Under 194Q, it is a resident buyer whose total sales or turnover is more than 10 crores. The limit of transaction is the same. The trigger point, sir, most important, this has to be noted, the trigger point of liability. Under 206C1H, it is the time of receipt of payment from the buyer. However, under 194Q, it is at the time of credit of amount to the account of the seller or suspense account, which will be deemed to be credited to the seller. Sales से इसका कोई नाता नहीं है. Sales हुई, हमने एडवांस दे दिया या उसका पेमेंट से इसका कोई नाता नहीं है, या हमने उसका अमाउंट क्रेडिट कर दिया, टैक्स इज एप्लीकेबल. 206 के अंदर सिर्फ पेमेंट. नाउ सर, रेट ऑफ टैक्स, टीडीएस दोनों जगह सेम है, 0.1%. टीसीएस भी. द प्रोविजन सेज, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, 194Q के अंदर सर, इफ देयर इज नो पैन और आधार, the TDS is 5%, sir, 50 times the actual tax. और ये हम अभी बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, और इसके अंदर एक और बहुत बड़ी लायबिलिटी अराइज होगी, which I'll take up in a bit. Coming to the exceptions, sir, differences. TDS is deductible. TDS deductible under any other provision of the Act. 194Q will not be applicable. TCS applicable to 206C1H. यहाँ पे आके थोड़ी सी कंफ्लिक्ट आ जाता है, बट इसको हम अभी रिजॉल्व करेंगे. इन केस ऑफ अ कंफ्लिक्ट सर, अच्छा ये हम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. The amount of sale here is 50 lakhs. The amount of purchase here is 50. ये मैं एक बार कंफ्लिक्ट डिस्कस कर लेता हूं, फिर बाकी डिफरेंसेस के ऊपर जाएंगे. सर अगर कंफ्लिक्ट आ गया हमारा दो ट्रांजैक्शंस के ऊपर, अभी हम इसको कुछ by way of some certain illustrations also we'll discuss and we'll take up a quiz also. Sir, Income Tax Act works in a chapter wise manner. Chapter 17B covers section deduction of tax at source, and chapter 17BB covers collection of tax at source. That meaning thereby, sir, chapter 17B comes before chapter 17BB, and as such, the provisions of TDS will supersede the provisions of TCS. मीनिंग देयर बाय सर, अगर एक ट्रांजैक्शन के ऊपर दोनों लीवल हो रहे हैं, अगर बायर और सेलर दोनों 10 करोड़ से ऊपर हैं, परचेज ट्रांजैक्शन 50 लाख से ऊपर है, पेमेंट 50 लाख से ऊपर है, हमारा टीडीएस लगेगा, टीसीएस नहीं लगेगा. So this is very, very important, and why and how we will decide is the theory कि the income tax works in a chapter wise manner. दोनों लग रहे हैं, हमें एक डिसाइड करना है. However, सर प्रैक्टिकली जब हम ट्रांजैक्शंस करने जाएंगे, जब कंपनीज ट्रांजैक्शन करने जाएंगी, तो यहाँ पे कंफ्यूजन आएगा. People will have to check with each other whether TDS is being made applicable or TCS is being applicable. Certain declarations have to be sought with each other from purchasers and sellers, whether who is collecting or who is deducting. सर एक मिनट के लिए वापस आते हैं हम डिफरेंसेस. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है सर, प्लीज एवरीबॉडी डू नोट दिस. हर ट्रांजैक्शन के अंदर, सेल ट्रांजैक्शन के अंदर जीएसटी लगना. नाउ वेदर जीएसटी is to be considered while levying the TDS of this 0.1% or not. सर 194Q के अंदर अभी तक कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं आई, and this was a subject matter of interpretation before this provision also, before the TCS or TDS under sale of goods was introduced. This was covered originally by and clarified by the department under 194I. जब रेंट को कवर किया गया सर्विस टैक्स के, तो ये इशू आया कि 10% of the TDS which was applicable on rent, should it cover the service tax or not? By way of a circular, the department clarified in writing that the under rent, under 194I, the amount of the service tax is not to be included. Now this can mean कि जीएसटी को हमने नहीं लेना या सर्विस टैक्स को हम नहीं लेना, बट सर द लॉ डजंट वर्क दैट वे. द लॉ वर्क्स इन अ वे जो लिखा गया है. डिपार्टमेंट ने क्लैरिफाई किया कि रेंट के ऊपर नहीं है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि किसी भी ट्रांजैक्शन के ऊपर सीएसटी या सर्विस टैक्स वो कवर्ड नहीं है. दिस मेंट दैट ओनली अंडर 194I हम नहीं कवर. ये बाकियों के अंदर जहां पे क्लैरिटी नहीं है, वहां पे टीडीएस जमा कराना इज मोर safe, more beneficial, and more appropriate for the persons. Otherwise, we will be exposed to liabilities, unnecessary liabilities, and as I said earlier, bone of contention between the department. Similarly here, sir, under 206C1H, when TCS was levied, and it was to be implemented from 1st of October 2020, these representations were given to the department so as to clarify whether GST amount is to be included or excluded. Sir, by way of circular number 17 dated 29th of September 2020, the department came out with a very lengthy explanation in circular stating that no deductions will be made from the total amount of bills, whether it accounts for GST or whatever. Meaning thereby, sir, जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, law काम करता है, जो लिखा गया है वो law, जो नहीं लिखा गया, we cannot assume and reduce our liabilities. One should not do that, or we will be exposed to litigations and unnecessary litigations. TDS काट लो आज, जमा करा दो, डिपार्टमेंट will not come before. अगर हमारा किसी वजह से रह गया, हमने नहीं किया या डिसीजन ले ली, then we have options of litigations and we may end up winning or losing, but that will require litigation, and litigation is expensive. So why at all have a bone of contention with the department when you can avoid it? And this circular number 17 confirms my opinion here that it is better that you deduct TDS today and rather than repent later. Under 194Q, this issue has not been clarified yet. Probably representations will go. This law was introduced on 1st of February. It was passed somewhere in the end of February or early March, I don't remember. However, I think uske baad we went into a second phase of this COVID-19 and people forgot about these issues, obviously. Probably, I don't know whether the department is, the board is coming out with a circular or not. But yet there is no clarification on the subject. But I would suggest that we all suggest to our clients that do not disclude the amount of GST out of the total while calculating the total liability of TDS. Now, sir, next point. Again, a very important subject. Sale return या purchase return. TCS के अंदर भी सर हमने सेल काट दी, पेमेंट भी आ गई, but subsequently there is a sale return. What do? TCS already been collected and paid. Sir, TCS तो वापस नहीं जाए. We cannot undo what has already been deposited. उतने अमाउंट्स की वैल्यूएशन जा सकती है. अगर हमारा सेम मंथ के अंदर एडजस्टमेंट्स हो जाती हैं, it is not to say that we cannot adjust at all, but again I would say don't go for a bone of contention with the. अगर मेरा एक महीने में, जून का महीना चल रहा है, मैंने आज सेल काटी, मुझे आज पेमेंट आ गई और इसी महीने के अंदर अंदर मेरी वापस चला गया या वापस सेल चली गई, I can round off, I can net off the transaction and reduce my liability there to report the matter in by way of my returns, by way of my statement of TCS or TDS. However, if my TDS has been already deposited and returns have already been filed, I suggest that these transactions may not be reversed. It is also possible that there is a change of financial year between the purchase returns or sale returns. It will create a havoc of compliances for ultimately the tax professionals and the businesses to comply with the same. In case of see, I see certain people have raised hands. I would suggest you kindly please put your pen down your questions. We will take up. I will take up the questions at the end of my deliberations. Sir, coming here, यहाँ पे हमारा इशू क्या होएगा कि हमारी रिपोर्टिंग्स जो होनी है 26 AS के अंदर वहां मिसमैच है. This will happen. We will have to address those issues. But to net off the TCS while giving our liabilities, it will create a havoc for us. Similarly, sir, TDS can trigger point, if in case the trigger point is before any adjustments, no impact will be. अगर मैंने सेल काटी और उसी महीने में सेल रिटर्न हो गई और मैंने उसी महीने में उसका एडजस्ट कर दिया, मान लो मैंने 10 लाख रुपए की सेल काटी, मैंने 1000 रुपए मेरा लायबिलिटी है, 5 लाख रुपए का मेरा माल वापस चला गया, नेट ट्रांजैक्शन इज 5 लाख रुपीस, आई हैव only and I can only make a payment of 500 rupees and I'm not liable for 10,000. However, अगर वो क्वार्टर खत्म हो गया, वो महीना खत्म हो गया, मैंने ट्रांजैक्शंस अपनी कर दी हैं और टैक्स जमा करा दिया, आई वुड सजेस्ट सर डोंट डू। नाउ सर, कमिंग ऑन टू द very very important, please mark it, sir, consequences of failure to deduct or collect। 206C1H पहले डिस्कस करें। There is of course an interest involved at the rate of 1% or for every month or part there if TCS is collected and it is not collected or collected but not deposited। However sir, TDS के अंदर the provisions are draconian and I don't know अगर ये किसी से मिस हो गया तो उसका क्या असर हो। Not only that, there is an interest of 1% for every month or part thereof, or if we collect or deduct and don't deposit, the interest is 1.5%। Sir, the provisions of section 40A(IA) will be made applicable। If we read section 40A(IA), it covers transactions related to chapter 17B, that is TDS, and not chapter 17BB। TCS को सर 40A(IA) के अंदर नहीं कवर करता, मीनिंग देयर बाय सर TCS वाले में तो चलो हो जाएगा, ठीक है, नॉट दैट कि वो कर लेना चाहिए, वो भी अवॉइड करना चाहिए, बट अगर हमने गलती से ये TDS नहीं काटा सर 30% ऑफ द अमाउंट ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन हमारा डिसअलाउ हो जाएगा। आप ये सोचो, अगर आपने 10 लाख रुपए की TDS सेल करी, उसके ऊपर आपकी टोटल लाइबिलिटी थी 1.1%, 1000 रुपए। अगर मैंने वो नहीं किया, मेरी इनकम के अंदर 3 लाख रुपए की एडिशन हो जाएगी सर, एंड यू कैन कैलकुलेट कि हमारा कितनी लाइबिलिटी टैक्स के ऊपर। नॉट ओनली दिस, जो हमारी TDS की लाइबिलिटीज हैं वो तो रहेंगी, इंटरेस्ट भी लगेगा, पेनल्टी भी लगेगी, सब कुछ लगेगा, बट दिस इज ड्रैकोनियन। 40A(IA) covering this provision is draconian. It's very very serious, and I suggest we all should timely inform our clients about the 194Q provisions and that they implement it immediately. Now, the businesses also don't appreciate what we tell them. हम लोग आज यहाँ पे इकट्ठे होके सुन भी रहे हैं, समझ भी रहे हैं, implement भी करा दें। Not that the clients are going to appreciate it. वो तो हमें कहेंगे कि आपने क्या ले, एक और मुसीबत आ गई, पहले कोविड से काम नहीं है, ये नहीं, वो नहीं है, बट yes sir, this is what our duty is, we have to do this। Coming ahead sir, टाइम भी मेरे को देखना पड़ेगा, 1 घंटा हो गया, I don't know how much time I have, we have to also take up the queries। फटाफट आगे चलते हैं सर। कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर दिया, नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस द quiz as I suggested, and I again invite everybody to kindly raise hand or open their mic and tell the speaker। सर, बायर की टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ है, सेलर की टर्नओवर 10 करोड़, परचेजेस बाय बायर इज मोर देन 50 लाख रुपीस, सर क्या लगेगा?
TDS।
194Q सर।
Yes sir।
बायर की टर्नओवर 5 करोड़ है, सेलर की टर्नओवर 15 करोड़ है, परचेजेस इज मोर देन 50 लाख, क्या लगेगा सर?
सेलर है तो TCS
लगेगा। बायर की लाइबिलिटी नहीं है सर यहाँ, सेलर की, तो 206 लगेगा। थर्ड पॉइंट, बायर की टर्नओवर 15 करोड़ है, सेलर की टर्नओवर 7 करोड़, परचेजेस अगेन 50 लाख से ऊपर,
Q 94Q।
194Q। बायर की टर्नओवर 5 करोड़ है, सेलर की टर्नओवर 7 करोड़, परचेजेस अगेन मोर देन 50 लाख,
नहीं
क्या
लगेगा
लगेगा
सर, नहीं लगेगा,
नहीं लगेगा सर, परफेक्टली फाइन, नहीं कुछ नहीं लगेगा, ना 194Q लगेगा ना 206। बायर की टर्नओवर 15 करोड़ है, सेलर की टर्नओवर 17 करोड़, परचेजर बाय बायर इज मोर देन 50 लाख,
नहीं
क्या
लगेगा
लगेगा?
सर, नहीं लगेगा, यहाँ भी
सर
नहीं
लगेगा, TDS लगेगा सर. Oh sorry, it purchases less than 50 lakhs. कुछ नहीं लगेगा सर.
कुछ नहीं लगेगा.
कुछ नहीं लगेगा. Provided सर TCS के अंदर 50 लाख रुपए से ऊपर ना आए. अगर टर्नओवर हमारी 50 लाख से, परचेजेस बाय बायर इज 50 लाख रुपीस और लेस, नो इश्यूज. पर अगर मेरी पेमेंट रिसीव 50 लाख से ऊपर हो गई उस पार्टी से, चाहे पिछले साल की हो, चाहे वो पेमेंट मेरे पुराने क्रेडिटर्स में से दे रहा हो, अगर उसने 50 लाख रुपए से ऊपर इस साल में दे दिया मुझे, तो मेरा TCS लग जाएगा सर. माइंड यू, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर मेरे पिछले साल के अंदर उसने 10 लाख रुपए की सेल की, वो 10 लाख रुपए उसने नहीं दिए थे, इस साल के अंदर मैंने 40 लाख रुपए की ट्रांजैक्शन करी उसके साथ, और उसने 40 लाख पिछले साल, इस साल के दे दिए, 10 लाख पिछले साल के दे दिए सर, या मैं उसको 15 लाख ले लेता हूँ, लेट्स अज्यूम, तो मेरी इस साल के अंदर लायबिलिटी आ जाएगी सर 5 लाख रुपए की. काइंडली अप्रिशिएट दिस पॉइंट, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अब सर आगे चलते हैं. ये तो हो गया हमारा कंफ्लिक्ट बिटवीन 206C1H एंड 194Q. अब सर दो प्रोविजन इसके साथ और इंट्रोड्यूस हो गए इस साल, जो कि मेरे को तो हिला के रख दिया इन प्रोविजन. सर सेक्शन 206AB एंड 206CCA. सर पहले भी इससे सिमिलर प्रोविजंस थे कि अगर कोई पैन नहीं प्रोवाइड करता तो क्या करेंगे. ये नया लॉ नहीं है, बट इसको इतना वाइडन कर दिया और इतनी कंप्लायंस बढ़ा दी कि आई डोंट नो वेयर द बिजनेसमैन इज गोइंग टू is going, and what will be the compliance cost, and how as professionals we will handle this. Ultimately we as professionals have to charge according to the time that we provide for our client. जितनी compliance इसके अंदर लाई गई है, how is the business is going to cope up, and specifically जैसे आज हर क्लाइंट कोविड की वजह से परेशान है या नहीं है, या बहाना तो है ही है, बट परेशान भी बहुत है. आई विल नॉट से दैट कि सब बहाना ही बना. किसकी कंप्लायंस कैसे कंप्लीट होगी सर, मेरी समझ से तो बात. सर पहले 206A भी डिस्कस कर लेते. पहले एक सेक्शन हुआ करता था सर 206AA, which provided for deduction of TDS at a higher rate in case PAN is not provided by the deductor. This was introduced, I think, in the year 2007, 2006 and 7, जहाँ पे PAN को importance बहुत ज़्यादा देनी शुरू कर. And earlier, I remember there was a time कि out of the total number of deductees, कुछ percentage of deductees हम पूरे कर लेते थे तो हमें exemption मिल जाती थी सबके लिए, कि शायद 70% या 50% या 90%. It was varying. तो हमें किसी के अगेंस्ट, मतलब अगर हमने 10 में से 7 सेसिस का पैन दे दिया तो हमें 10 के 10 के अंदर एग्जेम्पशन मिल जाती थी और किसी को भी ज्यादा टैक्स नहीं देना. देन इट बिकेम एप्लीकेबल कि अगर एक ने भी नहीं दिया तो उसके ऊपर आप हायर रेट ऑफ टैक्स लगा दोगे, और बाकियों को जिसने किया हुआ है वो तो नॉर्मल रेट पे है ही. देयर वर 3 कंडीशंस. Higher of the following rates were applicable for reduction: the specified rates for that particular transaction, the rates in force, or 20% of the amount of transactions. Because the maximum rate of tax was usually 10%. कईयों में ज्यादा भी था, 20% था. But अगर मैंने पैन नहीं दिया तो 20% of the amount of transaction was to be deducted, और उसका क्रेडिट भी नहीं मिलता. फाइन सर. अब इसको सर वाइडन करने के नाम पे एक नई सोच साथ में लाई, विच इज कि क्या वो बंदा इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल करता है कि नहीं करता, ये भी मुझे चेक करना है. उसके पास पैन है, उसने दे दिया, मैं ये भी चेक करूं कि उसने रिटर्न फाइल करी है कि नहीं है. दिस इज आई थिंक स्ट्रेचिंग इट टू फार, एंड कंप्लायंस thereof will be a hassle. It will be a nightmare for many businesses. There can be बिजनेसेस, मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल लूंगा, बिग बाजार की कितने लोगों के साथ डील कर रहा होगा, जिनके वो टीडीएस का, जिनके साथ वो परचेजेस कर रहा हो. It may be 10,000 people, it may be 20,000 people, it may be 1 lakh people, which may be associate. अभी मैं बहुत बड़े बिजनेसेस की बात ही नहीं कर, एंड इवन फॉर दैट मैटर हम इतनी दूर जाएं कि छोटे बिजनेसेस, अगर हम एक नॉर्मल जो टर्नओवर है 2 करोड़ 2 करोड़ की भी टर्नओवर ले लेते हैं, the number of people whom we deal with can go into hundreds. Now I need to check for everybody that whether he is filing his return of income or not, and not only the last 2 years. How many declarations am I going to ask for people? Who is going to comply with this? Who is going to handle the paperwork? Is the professional, the tax advisor is supposed to do that? I think the cost of compliances is going to get too much, and the work involved is, मैं तो कहता हूँ सर फीस भी आ जाए तब भी कौन करेगा इस काम? ये तो सिर्फ हम कागज कालने करने वाली बात हो गई. We will not be doing anything constructive. It is only compliance and compliance and compliance. Anyway, sir, coming to the provision discuss करते हैं. उसके बाद तो जो सरकार ने बना दिया वो तो बना दिया. We have to only follow it. Sir, this says this 206AB has now been introduced, and it will be applicable, sir, from 1st of July. In case the specified person, the term here used is specified person, अगर उसने पैन नहीं दिया या उसने रिटर्न नहीं फाइल करी है, तो हमारा रेट ऑफ टैक्स सर या तो स्पेसिफाइड, हायर ऑफ द 3 स्पेसिफाइड rates in force of or 5% of the amount of transaction. सर 0.1% की जगह 5% आ जाएगा. हमें टीडीएस जमा कराना है, काट पैसे आए ना आए ये देना है. टीसीएस के ऊपर भी एप्लीकेबल है, उसमें हम बाद में. तो जो बंदा बेच रहा है उसकी लायबिलिटी आ गई सर, चाहे उसके अपने 5% का मार्जिन हो या ना हो. उसने ये देखना है पहले कि वो बंदा रिटर्न फाइल कर रहा है. आई डोंट नो सर कैसे ये चले. मे बी देयर हैज टू बी सम क्लैरिफिकेशन व्हिच मे कम. एक क्लैरिफिकेशन आई है, वो भी अभी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. सर तो दिस प्रोविजन इज applicable to all provisions of TDS except 192 and 192A, which is salary, 194B, which is winning from lotteries. Lotteries के अंदर सर they need not check, because lottery किसी भी निकल सकती है, whether he is filing income tax return or not, किसी की भी निकल सकती है. So डिपार्टमेंट ने उतनी leverage दे दी है. 194BB, winnings from horse races. 194LBC, investments in scrutinization first. 194N, जहाँ पे पेमेंट्स ऑफ कैश, ये भी सर 2 साल पहले न्यू सेक्शन इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ. तो सर सेक्शन 206AB, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सर. दिस हैज टू बी टेकन अप, दिस हैज टू बी अंडरस्टूड, दिस हैज टू बी एक्सप्लेन्ड टू ईच ऑफ आवर क्लाइंट इन अ वेरी वेरी टाइमली मैनर. हमें अपना रिटर्न में, आई वुड से एवरीबडी शुड गिव इट टू द पीपल. देयर हैज टू बी अ डिक्लेरेशन. I can, if you want, I can share the declaration, sample declaration with everybody, which should be shared with all our clients. So specified person here means a person who has not filed his return of income for both of the 2 assessment years relevant to the 2 previous years immediately prior to the previous year in which the tax is required to be deducted. मतलब क्या है सर? आज चल रहा है 2021-22, ये आज हमारा प्रीवियस ईयर है जिसमें हमारी टैक्स की लायबिलिटी. प्रीवियस ईयर सर इससे पहले के 2 दे लेंगे, 2020-21, 19-20, जिसका कि हमारा असेसमेंट ईयर था 2021 एंड 21-20. सर हमें एक डिक्लेरेशन साइन करानी है अपने हर परचेजर से, हर सेलर से, कि क्या आपने वो रिटर्न फाइल करी थी within the time applicable allowed under section 139(1) or I would say 139. उनसे हमें रिटर्न्स की कॉपीज लेके रखनी चाहिए. उनसे हमें एक फॉर्म भरवाना है जहां पे डेट ऑफ फाइलिंग, एक्नॉलेजमेंट नंबर ऑफ फाइलिंग, आई वुड से रिटर्न की कॉपी भी लेके रखें। दिस होगा कैसे, आई विल नॉट गो, आई एम नॉट कमेंटिंग ऑन दैट, बट करना है। Otherwise, our liability increases to 5% of the amount of transaction and the other consequences that go with it. अगर हम ये नहीं करते हैं तो हमारी शॉर्ट डिडक्शंस आ जाएंगी, डिसअलाउंसेस आ जाएंगी, इंटरेस्ट आ जाएंगी, पेनल्टी आ जाएगी। बट यस, इट इज सिमिलरली सर 206 CCA, इसका भी पहले प्रोविजन 206 डबल, दिस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन 2017। यहाँ पे भी because this was introduced in 2017, there was a stricter law than 206 AA. The earlier the rates were twice the rate of the specified rate or 5% of the amount of transaction in case of TCS, जहाँ पे हमारे अलग-अलग rates थे. Now sir, again 206 CCA has been introduced for certain class of specified persons. Again, the specified person is who has not filed his return for both of the 2 assessment years relevant to the 2 previous years, immediately prior to the previous year in which tax is required to be deducted or collected. And sir, another condition here is that the aggregate of TDS or TDS collected for that deductee, जिसका हमने डिडक्शन करनी है या कलेक्शन करनी है, जिससे उसका TDS और TDS मिला के 50,000 रुपए से ऊपर, ये हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? हमें सर डिक्लेरेशन से पता चलेगा। There is no other way. And each and every debtor or creditor, you have to do this for. Now, sir, department has come out with a circular dated 21st of June 2021. Department is not, it is not that they have put a blind eye on the issue that I have just raised, compliance kaise ho. Just allow me. So they have issued a circular number 11 dated 21st of June 2000. Just read it. They say that for ease of compliance under this newly introduced provisions, a new functionality called compliance check for section 206 AB and section 206 CCA is made available through the newly launched portal of the Income Tax Department. Actually, I visited this portal. We all know there are certain hindrances in the new portal. इसके मैं practically जब मेरे को ये ड्यूटी लगाई गई, इसको deliberate करना है, I logged into my dashboard. Under the tab pending actions, you can find another tab which is reporting portal. When you open this up, the circular says that this compliance check for the compliance check for section 206 AB and 206 CCA will be made available. Although sir, ये आज नहीं, मैंने उसका एक स्क्रीनशॉट भी यहाँ सबके साथ शेयर किया, आज वो नहीं है. Just like a lot of other facilities which are not there. सर, अब सवाल ये उठता है कि अगर ये आज नहीं है और ये वेबसाइट, although the Honorable Finance Minister has also acknowledged that there are problems in this newly launched portal of the Income Tax Department. But sir, अगर ये नहीं होता और अगर ये इतने बड़े स्केल पे अगर department has not been able to, for whatever reasons, the income tax site is not a small site कि एक दिन में चल जाए. There is a lot of effort and which goes into it. But sir, इतने बड़े लेवल पे अगर सरकार इसको करने में मुश्किल महसूस कर रही है, तो छोटे लेवल पे लोग क्या करेंगे? Again, coming back to who will handle the compliances. इसके अंदर भी the circular says that you will be able to check for multiple people at the same time. आप सिर्फ पैन नंबर वहां डालिए और उसके ऊपर आ जाएगा कि उन्होंने रिटर्न्स फाइल करी हैं कि नहीं करी. Yes, definitely this will help once it is there. बट जब तक ये नहीं आता और अगर ये लॉ एप्लीकेबल हो गया 1st of July 2021 से, our liabilities will start for sure. और इसके एक्शन, इसके consequences 7th of August से शुरू हो जाएंगे. हमारी transactions which are going through for the month of July will be made liable for tax, and our tax will have to be deposited by the 7th of the within 7 days of the following the month in which the TDS or TCS is applicable. 7 अगस्त को हमारी liabilities सब खत्म हो रही हैं, हमने करना ही करना है, चाहे ये पोर्टल चले या ना चले, चाहे कुछ भी हो या ना. So sir, the importance of this law which has been introduced is, I think, very much, and this has to be understood in a very, very detailed manner. With these words, sir, I will conclude my today's deliberation, and now I will invite the questions, if any. Respected President, sir, I will request you to kindly take over and share the queries if there are.
Thank you very much, sir. Please give a huge round of applause.
Thank you.
It was indeed a super analysis with all clarity on the subject. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request past President of Income Tax Bar Association, Rupesh Bhai, to give his concluding remark, and if any questions left unsolved, kindly coordinate with that.
Thank you, President, and I am more thankful to our today's learned speaker, Advocate Jaspal ji, who readily accepted the invitation. First of all, I am thankful to all the president of and office bearer of all the association giving me an opportunity to give me a concluding remark on the subject interplay between TDS 194Q and TCS 206C1H. Government every year expanding the TDS and TCS family by introducing more and more section in chapter 17B, part B, and under TDS, and part BB under TCS of the Income Tax Act, with intention to curb tax evasion and to punish the non-filers of income tax returns. Today we have invited Sri Jaspal ji, who is a young and dynamic advocate from Delhi, and he has covered almost all the issues of the coming and future. Sri Jaspal ji has rightly elaborated the income tax new Canberry flavored baby under chapter 17 of the Income Tax Act, that is 194Q, provisions and future intricacy between the TDS and TCS in a lucid manner, explained in detail along with the circular 17 of 2020, as well as the latest CBDT circular number 11 dated 21st of June 2021. Sri Jaspal ji has rightly pointed out the draconian provision of 194Q, which is subject to disallowance under section 40IA. Sri Jaspal ji has also had advised to warn about this draconian provision to our clients, also highlight the future litigation. Further, he has also highlighted the future controversy of increase of GST in turnover would have the cascading effects. That is, presumptive income shall also be computed on a component of GST, which is never treated as income of the assessee. Therefore, government should come up with some clarification. I am sure that all the members have benefited by the expert knowledge of Sri Jaspal Singh ji. Members have doubted some of the queries I have received. Let me put before the speaker one by one.
I think first of all, Ravindra Bhai Patel has raised the hand.
Yeah.
Ravindra Bhai, kindly unmute yourself and then ask the question.
Sir, kindly unmute yourself.
रविंद्र भाई अनम्यूट करशो. नेक्स्ट ले लो.
Yes, yes.
अमित भाई.
हेलो.
हाँ अमित भाई.
हाँ सर, मेरी एक पार्टी है, उसके पेट्रोल पंप का बिजनेस है. 2 पेट्रोल पंप है एक पार्टी. हेलो.
Yes,
Yes,
audible.
please.
दोनों का टर्नओवर 9 करोड़ है.
Okay.
तो क्या हमको परचेज पे काटना पड़ेगा?
No, sir, we have discussed this.
दोनों
अगर-
को अलग अलग दोनों प्लेस भी अलग अलग है, प्रोपराइटर एक है।
No. Kindly, kindly repeat your question. There are two branches of the same person.
सेम प्रोपराइटर।
आपकी liability जो है वो PAN से decide होगी. If the PAN number is the same for two different branches, the total turnover is to be treated. If we have 9 crores of the turnover in each of the branch under the same PAN, the liability will arise.
कल हमको काटना पड़ेगा।
काटना पड़ेगा.
Okay, thank you.
And for that matter, as I discussed earlier, turnover does not only include sales, it will also include services.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next is Sridhar bhai, Amrut bhai, Mewada.
હા અમૃતભાઈ તમે
हेलो
હા અમૃતભાઈ.
हाँ सर, अभी जो कच्चा आड़तिया होते हैं ना, जिनका टर्नओवर जीएसटी में होता है 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा, और इनकम टैक्स में उनका सिर्फ कमीशन ही लगता है, तो
जी।
उनको जीएसटी तो टीसीएस और ये टीडीएस का प्रोविजन लगेगा सर?
Sir, turnover, as I said, is total. The words used there are or total turnover. So, in case our total turnover, which is to be reported under the income tax, is more than 10 crores, it has to be levied. Now, your question, as I understand, is that for GST, my turnover is 10 crores, but for my income, it is only some few lakhs, which is percentage of the total percentage of the total turnover as commission. Now, sir, the answer to this may lie in the fact that what is my receipt, whether I am the total turnover, total receipt in my bank is inclusive of the payment, the turnover or the amount which is reported in GST, whether it is going through my bank or not, whether it is going through my books of accounts or not. In case the answer is yes, then yes, sir, the liability will arise. However, if there is only a commission which I am receiving in my books of accounts and that is the only income that is associated with me, then the answer is no. But I believe I find it hard to believe that a turnover which is to be reported in GST has not to be reported in income tax. That is a very difficult position that you are in. तो अगर आप जीएसटी में रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं सर, आप ये भी देखिए कि जीएसटी और इनकम टैक्स का डाटा आज इंटरचेंज हो रहा है. इनकम टैक्स हैज एक्सेस टू द जीएसटी इंफॉर्मेशन what you are uploading turnover there. Even you have to report in ITR, जहां पे हम presumptive assessment भी कर रहे हैं, वहां पे भी हमें अपनी जीएसटी की टर्नओवर रिपोर्ट करनी है. तो अगर आप वहां पे 10 करोड़ से ऊपर की टर्नओवर रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं तो सर टीडीएस इज एप्लीकेबल टू यू. आई एडवाइज यू डिडक्ट टीडीएस. Because as I said, the consequences are very draconian. आप सिर्फ डिपार्टमेंट को एक बोन ऑफ कंटेंशन दे देंगे और उसकी लिटिगेशन में लगे रहेंगे, and it will come to bite you back. And I would advise that you suggest your client that he has to make compliances of TDS. उसके बाद client उसको कैसे लेता है वो leave it to them.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, one another question is whether the TDS liable to be deducted on purchase of jewelry not connected with the business if your turnover is more than 10 crores of rupees.
Okay. Sir, can you kindly elaborate?
Yes.
Why is what my question is, why is jewelry specifically a question here? Jewelry is a good.
Jewelry is not traded in the business, but suppose you have some occasion to buy the jewelry, but
Okay.
your business turnover is more than 10 crores rupees. So you are liable for the TDS under 194Q, whether at the time of purchase, which is not connected with the purchase of the business, is liable for TDS? This is the
Sir,
question.
the answer to this, in my humble opinion, is whether I am purchasing the gold in my own personal capacity or my business. If I am purchasing the gold or jewelry under my personal head and it is not a part of my books of account, then sir, I do not have any liability. आप इसको मैं थोड़ा सा रिलेट करूंगा. मेरा बिजनेस के अंदर 44AB के अंदर आई एम लायबल टू टैक्स, आई एम लायबल टू टीडीएस, और मैं साथ के साथ अपना घर बना, घर बनाने के लिए मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन भी करवाता हूं, मैं आर्किटेक्ट भी हायर करता हूं, एंड ईच ऑफ दोस ट्रांजैक्शंस इंडिविजुअली आर लायबल टू टीडीएस if I am liable to TDS. But because that is my personal home, I am not liable to TDS. There is an exception provided under 194C also, that I will not be subjected to TDS for my personal issues. Similarly here, if I am purchasing the gold or jewelry or bullion under my personal head, from my personal saving bank account, which is not part of my books of account, then sir, there is no liability. But if I am purchasing it in my books of accounts and making payments from my current account and taking it under my balance sheet, then sir, the tax will be applied.
One more question. So nowadays we heard that that's Infosys is going to buy back their shares.
Sir.
So at the buyback of shares, because we have a Supreme Court decision in the case of Anarkali Sarabhai, so which is called a purchase of goods. So whether the TDS would be applicable, I'm just talking about the from other angle, because Infosys is coming for buybacking of the shares, but whether 194Q will be applicable to them or not.
Sir, I am personally not exactly aware of the judgment that you are suggesting here. However, I do not believe they cannot see. There are other judgments relating to buyback of shares. If the company is buying back its own shares from the people, they are not goods. And it is not even a purchase in the nature of an investment. You are buying back your own equity. So, in my humble opinion, TDS will not be applicable.
Thank you.
Next, Ashish V. Trivedi has raised the question.
हेलो सर.
हेलो.
मेरा एक पेट्रोलियम का क्लाइंट है. फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 2021 से उनका टीसीएस डिडक्ट किया है.
ओके.
और उनका टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है. तो 180Q में मुझे उसका टीडीएस काटना पड़ेगा. तो उसका टर्नओवर कंसीडर मुझे परचेज का 1 अप्रैल से करना पड़ेगा या 1 जुलाई से?
सर, आपको टर्नओवर अपनी 1 अप्रैल से ही देखनी पड़ेगी, और आपको जो 50 लाख रुपए की ट्रांजैक्शन है वो भी 1 अप्रैल से ही कैलकुलेट करनी पड़ेगी, एंड नॉट फ्रॉम 1 जुलाई. अगर आप बिटवीन 1 अप्रैल एंड 1 जुलाई आप 45 लाख रुपए की ट्रांजैक्शन कर चुके हैं, and after 1 July you make another transaction of 10 lakh rupees, then sir, you will have to deduct your TCS or TDS as applicable on the balance amount of 5 lakh rupees.
Sir,
And the amount of 50 lakh rupees will not be calculated from 1 July.
तो मुझे परचेज 1 अप्रैल से ही कंसीडर करना पड़ेगा?
Yes, 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Then next is this tobacco. कौन से Sridhar भैया? Galaxy
M31 है.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is it? I am audible.
Yes,
Yeah.
audible.
Yes. Another question about just communicated about jewelry purchased in personal capacity. Just we are communicated there. I want to ask about if it is a proprietorship firm, and you said that it is saved from our saving account. We are paying. Then what about जो अगर प्रोप्राइटर है तो उसका सेविंग अकाउंट हो या फिर करंट अकाउंट हो, वो तो अपने एक ही होगा ना, प्रोप्राइटर है तो बिजनेस एक में होगा ना कम्युनिकेट।
let me answer. See, अभी जैसे रुपेश भाई ने शेयर किया and I explained कि if you for this kindly read section 194C and I'll just take it up. Just allow me a moment. There is an exemption also provided under 194C. Let me read it. It specifically provides exemption to any transaction in the personal capacity of even the proprietor. As proprietor, if I am, this is subsection 4 of section 194C. I'll read it. No individual or HUF shall be liable to deduct income tax on the sum credited or paid to the account of the contractor where such sum is credited or paid exclusively for personal purposes of such individual or any member of the HUF. Meaning thereby कि अगर individual proprietor भी है, उसका PAN भी वही, obviously yes, but he is purchasing jewelry under his personal name and not related to his business, and he is not taking the bills of the jewelry to his books of account, and it is completely for personal use, then there will be no liability for deduction of TDS, and 194Q will not be applicable. You can note it down. This exception which is provided under 194C subsection 4.
Thank you. I think Ketan bhai, kindly unmute and ask the question. And after this,
hello.
Yes.
सर TDS 50,000 की जो क्राइटेरिया है वो कैसे लगेगा? मेरा डिडक्टिव का ही देखना है का सब ऑल ओवर 26 AS देखना है?
सर ये बहुत अच्छा सवाल पूछा है आप। जैसे कि मैं अभी अपनी डेलिब्रेशन के अंदर भी बता रहा था, दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी कम्बरसम प्रोसेस। जो पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन आपने पूछा है वो ये है कि मान लीजिए 194Q की अब बात करते हैं। आई एम अ बायर, मुझे अपने सेलर का देखना है सबसे पहले कि उसने 2 साल की रिटर्न फाइल करी है, and whether my seller has a total TDS under his PAN, TDS or TCS totaling to 50,000 rupees or not. So how will I check this? I can check this. I don't have access to his 26AS. Obviously not. And 26AS is a confidential document. It is not a public document that I will know about. So the only way that I have at the moment is I will give a declaration, a sample declaration for my seller for him to sign and give it back to me. He will have to fill out that form, which will say that yes, I have filed my income tax return for this previous year on this date with this acknowledgement number. Provide me the copy of the income tax return, and also answer whether my his total TDS or TCS was aggregating to 50,000 rupees or not. To provide a easy solution to this declaration thing that I have just quoted, this is what has been clarified by the department on 21st of June by way of circular number 11, that they are providing a portal on which you can put the PAN number of the concerned person and check whether he is applicable as a specified person under this section or not. And they are also saying that they will provide a facility wherein you can put hundreds of PAN under the same query, and you can check the list complete list. So that facility, which if and when provided, will segregate the persons on whom such specified person definition will be made applicable or not. So of course it is a welcome step when it comes, but let us see and wait when that facility is made available to us. तो ये तो हमें सर और कोई तरीका ही नहीं है हमारे पास. We'll have to check it. We'll have to take a declaration from people.
Sir, I have an update. If we log in through TAN number through new income tax portal and go to the reporting portal, this facility is available. Though few people are reporting that they are not getting it under that login, but I've seen it, and there is an option to upload a CSV file, and it gives the report PAN wise whether they have filed return of 2 years or not, and whether TDS. It specifically denotes that whether this person is a specified person or not. It clearly gives that indication also.
Sir, it is, as I said, it is a very welcome step. Otherwise, though, it is an impossible ask. वो तो paperwork कोई कर ही नहीं सकता वो. So, as correctly pointed out by you, on the TDS portal, that facility might be available. But what is written in the circular, it was to be made available in income tax portal also.
It is through income tax portal only, but the login should be from TAN, not from PAN.
So that is a good update that you shared with everyone. Even I am updated. Thank you.
But after all, still it is unproductive compliance that we all have to pass, and it will create a huge task while conducting the audit. And with this, I request, I think we are done up with the questions. And with this, I request Honorary Secretary of Income Tax Bar Association, C.A. Sridhar Bhai Shah, to offer a certificate of appreciation to today's learned faculty, Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And now I request Sridhar Bhai Shah to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you. Sir, it gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks for webinar on TDS on purchase of goods under Section 194Q, interplay with TCS on collection from sales under 206C 1H. On behalf of Income Tax Bar Association, All Gujarat Federation of Tax Consultants, and all the association who join us for this webinar, I wish to thank our distinguished speaker of the day, Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi. Year after year, scope of TDS and TCS has increased, and in last 4 years, the spider web of TDS and TCS become quite complicated and need either rigorous watch and robust system to check applicability of sections. Everyone will agree. We are thankful to Advocate Jaspal Singh Sethi for taking this lecture at very short notice so that our program could be organized as per the pre-planned time. Preparing a presentation, it was an excellent presentation, sir, and delivering it with such excellence. So we are sure that many confusion of members related to TDS and TCS must have been eliminated after this session. We are also thankful to all the members whose presence make this webinar success and keep the entire team of IT Bar and AGFTC energized enough for new sessions. Thank you, dear all, and keep encouraging us. Keep sharing your suggestions too through the mail. We also want to thank our knowledge partner, Taxman. At this point, I must thank the office bearers of all the association who join us so that tax consultants from different places of Gujarat can be benefited. And that's the beauty of having a digital medium, as we were discussing in the beginning, sir. Thank you all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sridhar Bhai. And with this, we are concluding this webinar. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jaspal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Sir.
Sir, with your consent, so we'll circulate your PowerPoint presentation to the benefit of our members, sir.
Please, sir. Please do it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.